say women are the best cheaters. Well, if that's the case, you're indicating that women cheat more and better than men do. So right now, when you look at the situation, there are a lot of dudes who are number twos that are winning because women that are married or in serious committed relationships got a nigga on the side.
Well, Jamie, here's the thing. I have never said that women do not cheat. I just Nima actually said women cheat better. And if I'm gonna be honest, I will agree with that because most of the time when women cheat, men don't even know they're being cheated on.
But see, here's the deal. There's an expectation on both sides for monogamy that has never existed.
I disagree with that, JP.
So
I disagree
when
with
you
that.
talk about, okay, well, if you follow the good book, El, you read about men who had multiple wives. Let's not pick and choose what we want to be moral about.
I agree with
because
that.
at the end of the
Okay, so my question to you is, since you're talking about the good book, my question to you is, when did monogamy come into play? Then, since we know in the Bible that men had multiple wives. So when did monogamy come into play?
monogamy never has come into play. It came into play when the white man came up with the marriage law. If you look at it, the marriage license is the only license out of all licenses that never expires. Why? That's because it's an opportunity for whatever local city, government, or municipality to get involved in people's personal business to get money out of it. That's what it's all about.
Okay. So are you telling me that you don't agree with monogamy?
No, it's not the fact that I don't agree with monogamy. I don't have an expectation for something that has never or will never exist. We're part of the ecosystem. We're part of the animal kingdom. We're animals. We're species. There's only 5 species on this planet that only remains with that one mate until they die. Out of all the species on this planet, only 5. So that's a bit lopsided if you look at it.
But
at the same time, you have to be pretty arrogant, conceited, and full of yourself to think you, as one man or one woman, can fulfill and satisfy every need that your significant other or your spouse desire.
But see,
it's impossible.
See, but here's my thing: is that's what it's called discipline and self-control. You can be committed to one person. That's when you grow up, you mature, and you make a decision. You make a full-grown adult decision to say, I'm going to be monogamous to this one person. I can't imagine what the world would look like today if everybody said, I'm going to have 2 and 3 and 4, and 4 other people. To me, that's the difference between a 4-legged creature. That's the difference between a 4-legged creature and a 2-legged creature. Right?
Look here, El. Most men and women are in polyamorous relationships. They just don't know it, or they find out under the most messed up of circumstances.
JB, I'm telling you, I'm here to differ with you. I'm gonna differ with you because I don't want to be in a relationship with a man who I'm sharing with. I'm not into the sharing thing like that. I'm just not.
Well, it's gonna happen one way or another. You know, well, especially nowadays. Either you're going to be sharing with another woman or you're going to be sharing with another nigga. So,
look, I'm not sharing. If I find out that if I end up sharing, it's because I didn't know, and once I find out, it's a wrap for me. That's going to be it, because I have no plans on sharing a man. I'm just not. It's too much going on in the world. It's too much disease. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, JB.
what is it? Why is it that most people that are in polyamorous or relationships or in swinger relationships or involved in the BDSM lifestyle tend to be happier and have longer sustaining relationships than your normal relationship, your traditional relationships?
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree that they're happier because I still think on one side, one woman is always going to want more. I don't think she'll say that because at this point she's invested in this polyamorous relationship. So she's saying I just might as well stay put. I think it's always going to be one woman in that situation or a man who's going to want more. They just don't say it. They just don't say it. And I don't think that they're happy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You're not being fair, Errol. You're not being fair because you're looking at it through. I think you need to step outside of your box and you need to look at it as a whole, not just the way you view things. Because there are more women now that are in dominant positions, and they have men on the side. They're the dominant one in the relationship, and the man is the one at home that doesn't have the side piece. So I think we have to look at how the world has changed and how people and relationships have evolved, and understand that you just can't put it on men. You just have to look at people as a whole and how society is right now.
You know what? People use society as a way, in my opinion, to satisfy their own selfish desires. I'm stepping outside my box. Trust me. I have talked with polyamorous couples before, and I'm just amazed at what they say. But it seems to work for them. That's not something that I would do, not knowingly anyway. I'm uncomfortable with that because for one thing, I'm a very private person. So I know what I want to experience and what I don't. That's something I don't want to experience. I'm not going to know that when my man leaves my home that he's going over here to be with her. No, I have too many things going on in my head for me to even consider. No, I can't float that boat. I can't do it. So I don't care what other people do in the world.
Well,
I can't. I'm not going to do that. Go ahead.
Sometimes that man or that woman on the side helps them tolerate that person at home that they really love.
JP, I'm about to be real with you. I'm about to be very real with you right now. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. That is a cop out. Yes, it is. That is a cop out for you to say, okay, yeah, baby, in order for me to stay married to you, I gotta have a little something on the side. That's a bunch of crap. That's crap. Nope.
I don't expect monogamy. I don't. I don't expect monogamy because I understand and take people for who they are. And you know, I don't set myself up for disappointment. I'd rather a woman tell me, listen, I love you, I really dig you, and we have something special, but I need some extra meat in the smokehouse sometimes.
And you're okay with that. You're telling me that you're okay with that.
I don't trip over that. I really don't, because, like I said, I don't have an unrealistic expectation of women, just like my women have of most men. That's why I say most people shouldn't get in serious relationships until they're 35 years or older, and they're mature, and they know who they are and what they want out of life. Anyone that gets married and gets a serious committed relationship, but then you're just setting yourself up for failure and disappointment.
You know what? I agree with you on that point. I said, for me, I don't believe that men begin to mature until they hit 30. So anything after that, I think, yeah, they can handle a committed relationship. But anything before 30, yeah, they're not ready for it. I agree with that.
And I think if women, a lot of women, if they stop focusing on trying to get a man to do what they want them to do and to conform to their ways and focus on what they need to do to have a good and a happy relationship, things will be much better, because men don't want to be with somebody to tell them what to do and how to do it, when to do it, and why to do it. If that was the case, then they should stay at home with their mama.
You know what? I agree with you on that standpoint as well. But here's the kicker to that. If you're a man, I shouldn't have to tell you repeatedly what needs to be done, how to do it, when to do it. You should be already. So if a woman has to tell a man that, that's not a man you need to be with in the first place because he's not ready to be a man. And it works the same thing for a woman. A man shouldn't have to tell a woman what to do, maybe how to be a woman, how to do this, how to do that. If a man has to tell a woman she's not ready to be in a committed relationship either. It works both ways as far as I'm concerned.
And that's the issue, Aaron. When people meet people and they start building a foundation for whatever type of relationship they're trying to establish, you have to ask the right questions because it's an interview process.
Yes.
And I agree with you when it comes to men. But if you have a young man who doesn't have a man or a strong male figure in their life to teach them how to become a man and to do the things that a man is supposed to do, you can't expect that man or that woman to know how. So when you think about men, we really have to look at the situation of where there are a lot of men that have been absent in the household because the women have ran them off faster than they needed to, and they ain't have time to teach them the game and how it's meant to be played. Or you got these ratchet ass club women that didn't have kids and they didn't raise daughters that they jealous of or that they competing with to get me over. And they ain't taught them how to be a real woman. So you have a recurring cycle of the same old BS. And that's where we're lost, especially in our community.
Listen, everything you said right there, I agree with you. I totally agree. So how do we, how do we can teach these women that they come up in these ratchet households with their mamas competing with them? How do you get them to be real women? How do we go about doing that?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, El. It's difficult because we don't have any more big mamas. We don't have any more grandmothers that are committed to bringing the youth up, because nowadays you can be a grandmama by the time you're 35, a great grandmama by the time you're 45, 50. So you can be with the same niggas in the club that your daughter and your granddaughter messing with. So
that is accurate.
What we really have to do, we really have to try to get unified and bring our community and together and strengthen our culture, because we have to go back to the village mindset. You remember that? When it really took a village or a neighborhood to raise the youth, we no longer have that. So now people are more concerned about what affects them directly. There's a level of selfishness that our community is dealing with that we didn't deal with in the past.
Yep. I agree with you there. You're absolutely correct in saying that. Yep. I look at these young women who are mothers and they're like 20 something and say that they have 3 kids before the age of 30. There's something very wrong with that picture. And then something else.
We also have to look at this too, El.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of abuse. There's a lot of abuse with children in our community.
Yeah.
So whether it's with young men or with young ladies when they're girls, we have a tendency to sweep that under the rug and to keep it quiet rather than holding the individuals accountable, and no one thinks about the kids and the long-term effects that it has.
Absolutely.
So when you look at these young women that are having kids and having a lot of sex at a young age, we're not looking to address the issue why that's happening. We want to call them fast, and we want to call them old, instead of looking at why is he or she conducting themselves in this manner. And then the parents have to look at themselves and say, am I or have I done what I needed to do to be there to support my child and to help them through a difficult process, or to help them understand what's going on and to be in a better position to move forward in the future.
JB, hold your thought. We gotta go into another break. I gotta come back because